Hi, and welcome to the new moon um, psychic forecast, the 5 things that we need to know. And the main thing is that this is a huge cosmic upgrade that we're in on so many levels. And we're probably already feeling differently, right? It's a whole different energy. It's already beginning, even though the new moon is still a couple of days away. And remember also that the new moon forms the template of the entire 29-degree cycle. So if you know the energies right at the new moon, that's going to play out in your life. So we're going to talk about the 5 things that we need to know. Let me bring the computer closer so that you actually hear me better. And 5 things that we need to know. But also, if you know your own astrological chart and know what houses and signs are affected in your chart, that'll give you some personal insights. And if you're watching this as a video, we'll just get started in a couple of minutes, but I'll timestamp where we actually start the video. So I'm going to say a few quick hellos, let the live people get their notifications and everything. So hello, Angela and Yvonne, welcome, and Lisa and Hydro, hi, Fro C, welcome. Hi, Michael. Hi, Josie. So people are just starting to get on. And so we're actually going to finish doing with a transmission. So we're going to do an energetic transmission to sink into these new and higher energies and frequencies that are affecting us now. So for those of you that have never done this, we work with toning, light language, and direct energy channeling with the master teachers. And we'll do that near the end. A quick one. We're going to do a longer transmission with Heather on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the new moon is actually happening earlier in the day on Tuesday. So we're going to do this right before the actual new moon. And of course, 3I ALTLAS, this strange interstellar object that's getting so much attention, going to be in superior conjunction. So that's a main player and part of the reason why this is such a powerful new moon. And sometimes what's going on in the cosmos is more of an expression of the energy rather than a cause of it. But however you look at it, strange things are happening in the cosmos. We're going to break it all down in just a few minutes. So hello, Alween Blatt, welcome. Hi, Ananda, welcome. Victoria, Sandra, welcome. And very good, very good. So we've been on a couple of minutes. I'm inclined to just kind of get started. So let's see. I'm going to be reading a lot on my notes. That's why my glasses are on. That means I mean business. This is very powerful time. This is a major shift that's happening on so many levels. Hello, Kathleen. Welcome. So let's see. So firstly, the new moon's going to be in Libra, and I'll talk more about that. So we talk a little about the astrology, numerology, the 5 things that we need to know. I've got divination cards to add some new information, some spiritual exercises that are recommended by my guides and your guides also. And we'll do the channeling and the energy work near the end to energetically blend and sync in with these new energies so that you can gracefully receive your upgrades. It sort of primes your energetic systems and your bodies for these higher energies, and it's going to be very helpful. So the earth, everything is seeking balance. So that's something to keep in mind. This is the Libra new moon. Everything's always seeking balance, but it's going to be even more profound now because there's more energetic diversity going on. There's more polarity that's happening. So this new moon energy is going to really try to help to balance that and to blend that together, basically. So it can touch off, because everything is seeking balance. This is going to touch off, most likely, we don't know until it happens, major geological events on the Earth, major solar events, solar storms, and things like that, which is being facilitated also by 3I ALTLAS and other comets, more more not terrestrial, but more solar system comets, because 3I ALTLAS is interstellar, so more stellar. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. More stellar comets. But anyway, they all have comas. They're all electrically charged. We believe that 3I ALTLAS has a kind of a diffuse, dusty plasma coma that's about half the diameter of the sun. So there's a lot of electrical potential there. And it's going to be right in superior conjunction right at the new moon, which is really crazy. What are the odds? Yeah, and it's also traveling along the elliptical plane, so it's influencing the solar system and the sun longer. That's just the plane that the planets circle the sun in. Then we have R2 Swan, which is another comet that's going to be at its perigee to the Earth, also traversing the elliptical plane, which is rare for comets to do that. So there's something very, very cosmic and mystical happening. But all this activity and the fact that everything's really amping up to seek balance when things are so out of balance, there's likely to be stronger geological events, weather events. So that's not really in my notes of the 5 things that we need to know, but we do need to know that also, right? So it's a big period for winds and fire. Libra's an air sign. Libra's a sign of balance. The new moon is in Libra. The sun's in Libra. Winds and fire, it's 28 degrees. That's a fire degree because it's 1 degree. That's the sun. I'll talk more about that in a minute. With immediate shifts. And then right after the new moon, within a couple of hours, the moon shifts into Scorpio. Within a day and a half, the sun shifts into Scorpio. So this new moon in Libra heralds in the very intense Scorpio season. It's going to be even more intense with some of the astrological aspects and the interstellar object. So that's interesting also. And what else? Brings more flooding. This is part of the Scorpio influence, more storms. More potential anyway. We'll just say potential. And things on all levels will be very active after a quiet moment. So I do believe, like the new moon itself, there's going to be a moment of stillness and quietness. And people are expecting, 3i Atlas will be in superior conjunction, will be aligned with the sun and the moon, very energetically charged. But it's probably going to be very quiet energy as it's happening. But watch out. 48 to 72 hours after that, I think things are going to really ramp up a lot. So everything tends to intensify. So anyway, moving right along, let me grab a little water here, and we'll talk about some of the specifics. Hello, Cassie, sending love and light. Yeah, hello, Mary. Hello, Nancy. And if anybody's new, hello, Josh of Mr. Floyd's Universe. He was at work, so thanks for stopping in and saying hi. So if you're enjoying this, like the video, that might help to get this out to more people. But let's start out with a little bit of the reality. So the new moon, 10/21/2025 at why did I write 13/4? Oh, that's it. 10/21/2025 adds up to 13 in numerology. That reduces to 4. 4 and 13 are very active numbers of transformation and change. Uranus is very revolutionary. I believe it was discovered during the around the time the French Revolution or American Revolution. So it's almost like revolutionary ideas finding this outer planet. So it has that energy associated with it. It's sudden change, release. So that's the ruling planet or the governing or influencing planet of the number 4. But 4 can also be very terrestrial of the Earth. So it's real think outside the box, real kind of Aquarian energy. And then, of course, the new moon is in Libra, 28 degrees. So it's at the very end of Libra. So that's interesting also, 28 degrees. So near the end of the sign. So that's near. So that all often represents a turning point. So right at the end of the sign on the new moon, this lunar cycle is likely to be a huge turning point in our lives individually, as well as what's going on in the world around us. So the moon goes directly into Scorpio. It syncs in with the 4 outer planets, which are all in alignment. So it's going to be squaring Pluto. And then it quincunxed, which is really, it's a minor aspect in astrology, but it really has profound kind of generational and cosmic types of events of an effect. And so it's quincunxing, Saturn and Neptune on one side, and then Uranus on another side. Let's see, Neptune. I see. Neptune's going to retrograde back into Pisces on the 23rd. So it's still in Aries. Saturn already retrograde back into Pisces. So when these outer planets go into their retrograde into the sign they were in briefly before they stay in their new sign, that's the cleanup time. So this is the time to just kind of mop up any residual energies of the past when these two were in Pisces, which is about the subconscious, which is about the inner workings of things before we go full on into the new beginnings of Aries, and Neptune, which is consciousness, Saturn, which is more the structure and the lessons and things like that. Of course, 3i Atlas and superior conjunction that adds energy, intensifies the system, and powers up the new moon, being in an exact alignment with the sun-moon conjunction. All new moons are sun-moon conjunctions. The moon's what's said to be an inferior conjunction with the sun because it's in front of the sun, and then 3i Atlas will be passing behind the sun in superior conjunction, basically, which means it's at a fair distance from Earth. And on December the 19th, when it's at its closest approach, I believe it's still 1.8 or 1.6 astronomical units, which is more than the distance between the sun and the Earth. In other words, if you're seeing like headings in a YouTube video that says it's changed directions on a direct course with Earth, don't believe it. It's not passing anywhere near the Earth. I mean, it could change directions, but it hasn't shown any signs of that. Of course, right now it's behind the sun. NASA went dark, of course. So we don't have any of the photos from the Mars probes available. So we don't know what's going on. For all we know, it could have split into a million different parts, and we wouldn't even know it because there's no way of viewing it. It's in the glare of the sun. It's behind the sun. So that's interesting too. Also, there's 7 comets in the inner solar system. So that, and it's interesting. These comets are kind of converging the inner solar system as 3i Atlas is making its closest approach. And then as it starts to move away from the Earth and the sun, these comets kind of go off on their merry way. So I just did a video just the other day on more details on 3i Atlas. I'll have that posted on the pinned comment if anybody wants to check out more of the details. So, again, this is likely to cause increase in solar activity because there's that electromagnetic dynamic. Every new moon, there's that alignment with the sun and the moon. Now, this moon's off the ecliptic, so it's not a direct alignment, like it's not an eclipse, but it's still affecting the electromagnetic circuitry of the Earth and the sun, and then 3i Atlas on the other side, and other bodies with plasma comas affecting it. So yeah, it's going to help to make the sun more active. What the results are not known until it happens, but I suspect more of solar flares and filament ejections and things of that nature. It looks like from the research that I've done that the solar poles have actually migrated. They've actually done their shift. So that means that we're actually going to be starting the descending phase of solar maximum very soon. But over the course of 2 or 3 years in the descending phase, we can still get some pretty sizable solar flares, which happened in the last solar cycle in 2017. The biggest flares affecting the Earth happened, which was a good 2.5 years after solar maximum. Also, Oumuamua was also traversing, inside the orbit of Mercury, probably enhancing that, but we don't know that. That's just conjecture. I believe that. But anyway, so anyhow, again, we're going to do a transmission near the end. So let me cover some of the aspects. Moon goes into Scorpio, sneaks in. Pluto squares. We started to talk about that. Pluto, strong transformative energy, so it's very transformative. Neptune and Pisces, we talked about that also. And I think I wrote this later in my notes, but Jupiter's also going to be trining about 3 degrees off a direct trine. And Jupiter's very expansive and very spiritual. So we have this very spiritual energy, this awakening energy coming in, combined with its very disruptive energy. So to me, all that spells is that it's going to intensify the energies for the old to fall and for consciousness and awakening to build. But on that note, let's go into the 7th thing that we need to know. So hello, Jill. Hello, Sandra. Can remote viewers get a sense? Yeah, I should try remote viewing. Actually, that's a good idea. And yes, just 3i was actually pulled on the magnet poles and the solar field. Yes, Jill, thank you for that confirmation and welcome. Well, Betsy, hello, Beverly, and anybody that I missed, Cassie, and anybody else that I missed, hi and welcome. So the first thing that we need to know is extreme transformation time. The tear down will be enhanced. The energies will be enhanced. Our perception. What did I freaking write here? Separate truth from the illusion. I don't even know what I was writing, but I'll figure it out. On one hand, we'll have different experiences, so the way we perceive these changes will be different for everybody. But our perception of the truth, our perception will separate truth from illusion. So that's one of the effects of this extreme transformation time for the tear down of the old to really happen in earnest. So we've got that Scorpio energy coming in that's very transformative. Your Libra is more about balance. It's more about equilibrium, establishing the balance. We're still in the year of the snake. What does the snake do? It sheds its whole skin. It's a symbol of transformation. We go and do a year of the snake every 12 years. So it's a 12-year cycle with the Chinese astrological system. So we're in that now, and it's very transformative, very much about transmuting the poison into medicine and everything. So that Pluto is squaring, so that's also very transformative. And Moon Sun will transit into Scorpio like right after the new moon, so that's going to be active 3i Atlas. So revolutionary activity increases, especially because it's happening on the 13th for Universal Day numerology. So that all that enhances that energies. So huge space discoveries are likely during this lunar cycle and beyond. Even more anomalies, more things like that. Tear downs of the old systems. Expect that. Tear down to things that are unsustainable in our own lives. So it's happening locally as well as globally. And the old systems will buckle. Solar activations, new light code transmissions happen. And I think 3i Atlas, whatever you believe it to be, I think it's catalyzing new solar activity. So we have the central sun or the spiritual sun. The physical sun is sort of a manifestation of that energy, of that creative force of the universe, that of the multidimensional or multiverse that is manifest in the physical. So we have all this activity. It's really amping up the sun, and that's amping up the solar light code transmissions, which acts on our DNA and activates our own DNA, activates new gifts, and it helps to level the old, helps the facades of old Earth to fall, so the new Earth can be built on, and our society can be built on stronger foundations. So tear down to the old system, activities, as well as solar storms, earthquakes, etc. For us, an inner revolution, it ramps up. Basically, shadows will rise to the surface. So those of you that are on a spiritual path and meditate may find it harder now, because when the shadows start to rise to the surface, they try to block us. We get anxieties or depression or distractions, or physical things come up. So this really happens. And thank you, Jill, for your comments too. And for us, so use the energy to end bad habits, to transcend your lower nature. So you have that boost from the universe to kick in any habits that are keeping you from ascending the way you would like to at this time, or from manifesting what you wish to at this time. So that's number one. I think I have more notes on number. Oh yes. Also, think about relationships. This is the Libra new moon. Libra is the relationship sign. I'm a Libra. We're the galactic guardians of relationships, right? So for all the other Libras, that's you too. How can they be more balanced? which ones need to end. That's the Scorpio energy coming in. Scorpio can end things, right? It's the sign of death, right? It's the Samhain season, the season, or the Halloween season. But death is the true beginning of life. So that begins the cycle. That's part of the Celtic wheel of the year, that Samhain is the new year, even though it's the time everything dies, because they recognize the fact that death is really the true beginning of life, and everything is a circle. There's no circumference. A circle can change its trajectory, its form, its shape, or whatever, but it's still a circle. It still continues round and round and round, right? So beginning of the rewriting of history, between cosmic and terrestrial discoveries to follow, intensification of exposure of corruption and the ruling party, all happens. Long and the short, the facades are coming down. We started this years ago, and it just keeps getting more and more intense. We've come out of the cosmos. We're just coming to the heart of the earth changes, where everything's going to happen. Now, it's still years in the making. Come 2026 or 2027, we may still be saying similar things, just we'll be farther along in the process. But this is a real shift. It's like a quantum leap of energy where things go into overdrive. So we have a minute, now into the new moon, and maybe like 24 to 48 hours after, where things are a little bit quieter before the next ramp up of energy. So this is a good time to re-ground our energies, to reconnect with the heart, to retool, basically. Take a deep breath, exhale, let it all go, and get ready for the next. So anyway, so intersensitive extraordinary corruption. So that's number one. The second thing that we need to know is finding the balance. It's Libra, right? Libra energy. The sun and the moon in Libra is the sign of the balance, right? So they're both in Libra. Though teardowns are imminent, this energy supports balance and diplomacy and exposure of facts. And what's happened recently, and maybe by one of my September predictions that haven't come true yet, maybe starting to in October. That being that I understand that there may be some talks between like Putin and Zelensky, maybe some movements towards peace in that area. We know there's hostage exchanges that are happening. That's all diplomacy. That all supports that energy, and that's been coming on as we've been getting closer to this new moon. So the energies are already starting to be felt, basically. Though tear down, all right, we read that. Aids in going within, the balance being the dark and the hidden between the light and the known. So a good time for shadow integration work, because the shadows, we're coming out of equinox season also. That started the sign of Libra. So the balance of light and dark becomes very, 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 very important at this time. Perfect for integrating the shadow self with the light self. Great time to do like things like soul retrieval, shadow integration work. Again, it's an integration. That's what the balance is. It integrates, and when two opposites become integrated into a whole, they draw power on each other, and they become more powerful. So meaning, if we're not denying our dark side, but we're rather integrating it, then we become more powerful, humans, and more powerful spiritual beings as a result of that. So what else? Let's see. Aging, going within balance in the dark. We said that groundwork to reset for the intensification. Do the groundwork now to reset before the intensification of Scorpio season begins, which is on the 22nd, I believe. Maybe the 23rd. I didn't look at my ephemeris. I think it's the 22nd this year. And a moment to recalibrate now before the intensity of Scorpio season begins. So with the big conjunction, which is supercharged, there should be a brief period of stillness and calm followed by that. I kind of explained that a little bit earlier in the beginning, but there's repeating that it's almost like the same as an eclipse. We know eclipses are supercharged, but do you not find that when we're actually in the eclipse, everything just seems very still and peaceful? And I think the new moon is going to be like that with this charged interstellar object. We believe it's a charged object anyway behind the sun, and other astrological aspects that are affecting that. You think it'd be supercharged. I think it's going to be very still, and this is the time to really go into the heart. We'll talk more about that because that's part of the balance, right, of Libra. It's balancing heart and brain, right? That's heart brain coherence. So we'll one of my favorite topics here if you're new, by the way. So we'll talk more about that. So anyway, with the big conjunction with supercharged, should be compound. So 2 to 3 days after the moon, recalibrate, balance your energies. Energy fields, balance your energy fields now, and reset for higher frequencies. And we're going to do a transmission at the end of this live stream to do just that. So we're going to help you with some frequency channeling work. Virgo. Oh, okay. The Virgo new moon eclipse is all about healing. So that was the last new moon, right at the very end of the sign Virgo, and deep transformational work to prepare for this next quantum leap of collective consciousness, which now we're going to start to go into in this new moon in this lunar cycle. So the third thing we need to know, it's the Day of the Dead, or I know that happens on November 1st, or the Dawn of the Dead. Is that a movie? Or so I know it's October 31st, November 1st, but this new moon leads into Scorpio season. Moon Scorpio is hours, sun in Scorpio in a day. Big increase in spirit activity, communication, etc. That happens every year around this time, but because the energies are stronger, because we have Pluto intersecting in a square into this new moon energy, which is really supports that between the world's energy and the transformative energies. So strong Pluto aspects, Scorpio season, additional energy from 3i ALTLAS makes this a very, very powerful time. So it opens up psychic abilities more. It does that this time of year always, but even more so this year. Awareness of our ancestors and higher beings. And I think people that don't even believe they're mediums are going to start to see or sense spirits more than they have and may get freaked out. And I've noticed lately a lot of people have been dealing with things like spirit manifestations, like hauntings in their houses, things of that nature. It's only going to get stronger. The best thing to do is keep your vibration as high as possible. That tends to filter out the lower astral entities and tend to make you more magnetic to the higher beings of light and love that come through. And we can start remembering to a higher level who we truly are. So this energy can help to open up that awareness of who we truly are beyond the Maya or the illusion or the matrix. What we forget when we come into the world, we start to get more glimpses of who we truly are. And if we're doing our spiritual work, that's going to intensify in a very positive way. And the more we can remember who we are, the more we understand what our spiritual mission is in this lifetime, and the easier time we have in fulfilling that. So one of our spiritual missions is simply to remember. And we do that again through our meditation practice, through our spiritual work, through opening the heart, opening the portals. And once we expand our frequencies into including and inviting our higher self in, that's where those memories of our true self, if we don't have to wait till we die to remember who we are, we can do that while we're in a physical body. So since this is the season of death we're coming into, let's have our symbolic death and rebirth experiences. That's called initiation. So it's a good time for that now also. So anyway, so the fourth thing to know about this new moon is mass awakening cycle begins. And we've been talking about this intermittently for years, but each cycle builds upon the last cycle. I think this is going to be a really, really big one. We had a big one a few months ago, I think August, right around Lionsgate portal. Right. That, and I got a lot of messages on my YouTube and messages about people freaking out. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And I tried to talk about, say, you're awakening. You're starting to recognize who you are as spirit now. You're starting to break through all the constructs and confinement of the social conditioning and programming designed to sever our connection with who we truly are as spirit and connecting with our wellspring of light, love, and energy so that we can fulfill our spiritual mission. It's all part of what we came in for. So we don't want to look at that as negative or just look at that as like, oh, these bad people that are programming everybody. I mean, it is kind of bad, but we don't want to look at it that way because it's really what we signed up for. And it's part of the challenge that we agreed upon in order to grow and ascend in this lifetime. So we are here to remember when you're asking, what's my life purpose? What's my life mission? Right now, our life purpose is to remember. We don't have to complicate it any more than that. And we start to remember, then we get the downloads of information of what we're supposed to do. You know, in 2019, Spirit told me I was supposed to start a YouTube channel. At the New Year's Eve 2019, I told them they were crazy. I suck on camera. Are you kidding me? But I did it anyway. I trusted Spirit and I reprogrammed. And I still feel like I'm a work in progress, but it's getting better and better, right, over time. You know, a lot of you have been with the medium channel from the very beginning. Now you've seen the changes. So let's see, mass awakening cycle in the human collective, in our own lives. 3i Atlas insists on upgrades, downloads, solar light code activation, ongoing outer planet alignments. That's been ongoing for almost a year. It's going to come off it a little bit for a minute because Saturn is starting to retrograde out of that perfect alignment. But as Saturn goes direct, when does that happen? December? And as we get into the new year, that alignment, you know, and the alignment, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, that's Neptune and Saturn in conjunction with Pluto trining that conjunction on one side in Aquarius, Uranus trining on the other side in Gemini, which means Pluto and Uranus are trining, and that's been going on. And it's rare to have four outer planets, not just in an alignment, but in a harmonious alignment. No squares or oppositions. These are all favorable alignments. They don't clash, in other words. They harmonize in this alignment. Nothing wrong with the clashes. You know, challenge is how we grow, but in this case, it's all in alignment. It's all like a very Aquarian process of human evolution and conscious evolution and revolution that's happening. So it comes off of that for a minute. So towards the end of the year, yeah, it could be a little bit chaotic. It could be a time where we just need to work on some of our human stuff, what's blocking us or whatever, because when it comes back in alignment, it's going to be a huge upswing in social consciousness. And I think that's going to affect things a lot in 2026. Yes, the AI revolution, the whole like social credit scores coming, but the digital ID and all that, you know, there's going to be those pressures, but there's going to be a lot of conscious revolution in 2026. It's going to be a really, really big year of change. But anyway, we'll talk more about that as we get closer to it, right? So what else? So Jupiter also a spiritual, an expansive influence, trines, you know, which aids in the spiritual expansion. All right. So that's number 4. And the 5th thing that we need to know is all new beginnings. All new moons are about new beginnings. Now, because it's a Libra new moon, relationships are highlighted because, again, that's the relationship sign. So extra energy for new beginnings. Also in this particular new moon, because 28 degrees of the sign Libra, 28 is a 1 in numerology. New beginnings, 2 + 8 = 10. So areas of romance and finance really are highlighted in these new beginnings in this month. Aesthetics, values, especially due to the Libra influence. But we also have that very transformative energy coming up, you know, going on as well. So it gives us new insight into relationships, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to others. So we probably need some new insights into relationships because our relationships, you take the sum of all of our relationships as a perfect mirror to our energetic frequencies right now. And we're 95% subconscious. So these relationships become our teacher. Well, you don't like your relationships, time to do that inner work and figure out why it is that you're attracting that into your life. There's always a reason. Scorpio energy tend to make it a little bit frustrated, but that Libra energy can be a little bit more balanced and patient with that. So anyway, so it helps identify program triggered responses in relationships, and that's huge. It's like when if we're in a relationship, and the other person says something or does something, chances are, if it's something we don't like, it triggers a response that's unconscious. So how do we change that? We just become the observer of how we respond, react, whatever word you want to give. And then you start to gain insights into your programming. Very Joe Dispenza, right? If for those of you that follow his work, like myself, it's also about fairness and balance. So how in or out of balance are we in our relationships? How much fairness is that? That's Libra energy also. It's the scales. Do we give too much? Do we have poor boundaries? So these are things that we can work on. We get a boost from the universe to work on these aspects of our relationship life. And again, it starts with the relationship with ourselves. So if you engage in diminishing self-dialogue, people do that and they're not even conscious of it. That's why we need to be present. We need to practice our meditation and be the observer of our internal dialogue and how we relate to ourselves. And then when we find ourselves doing it, we just flip it. It's like I could say, "Oh God, everything what's happening to me. Oh, everybody's dumping on me. I'm such a loser." Like, oh my God, let me step outside of myself and catch that and reframe that. I am a winner. I am in charge of my own destiny. People love me. You know where we're going with that, right? So so it helps identify. All about fairness, balance. I think we said that. That which is less authentic. Now, in our relationships with ourselves, with our relationship with others, with our relationship with the world and the world at large, a lot of this energy is exposing that which is less authentic. That'll get revealed in ourselves and others and in relationships. That's a really good thing. And this can also aid in identifying what's out of balance, what's out of harmony, what we need to change. So that's all part of this Libra new beginnings energy, new financial romantic opportunities highlighted. And now to find out where your new beginnings will lie, I mean, this is the general for all of us. What you want to do is look at your chart and see what house the new moon falls into. Now, there's different ways of calculating your houses. I use tropicals, so they're the uneven houses. To me, that's the most powerful. If you're close to the cusp, you can look at both of the houses. I don't know if that changes in sidereal and in Vedic astrology, the houses or not. But if anybody does Vedic astrology, feel free to collapse of decoherence. Very good. Yes, very good, Jill. Exactly. So look at your chart, see what house the new moon is in. And that's your personal area of new beginnings. Keep in mind the generalities of Libra. Now, mine is in my 10th house. It's very close to my 10th house cusp. It's very close to my midheaven. It's also not that far. It's about 6 degrees off an exact Jupiter Neptune conjunction that I have in my 10th house in Scorpio. If you understand astrology and know my profession, I'm doing the right thing. 10th house, that's career, right? Scorpio, that's death and transformation. 4 is Uranus energy, and Neptune and Jupiter. I think it's Neptune and Jupiter, which is very psychic and intuitive. My 10th house. So mine in 10th house goes midheaven. So changes is how I present my work to the public. That might be things that I might working, because Libra is also about aesthetics as well. So changes how I present my work, upgrades in my career will be very pertinent to my new beginnings. Your stability, you're attracting more money, opportunities, and things like that. So, see how that affects you, and you can get an idea what area we're looking into. So let's talk about a few exercises. I've got some divination cards to work with, and then we'll do a transmission. By the way, if anybody wants to learn the tarot, I'm doing a 4-part course starting this coming Thursday. It's on Zoom. We record every session, and we'll give you, the your basics on how to read, work with tarot, how to meditate, how to manifest with tarot, how to understand and create a relationship, because that is the book of life. And the 78 cards represent every possibility in a human existence. So if you understand that, you develop a relationship, an energetic connection, an intuitive connection, and understand the dynamics of the cards, it will make you, it'll increase your intuition. It'll make you a great reader, and it'll teach you a thing or two about yourself and manifestation. So I will leave how to get more information and register on the pinned comment when this becomes a video. But if you're interested, my website is atombetweentheworlds.com. Go to the event page and you'll find that, atombetweentheworlds.com. So anyway, tomorrow, 11 a.m., we're doing tarot time again. So we'll probably talk a little bit more about this kind of stuff and see what comes up in that. So that's also our community hour. So I bring in a lot of your comments. We have an ongoing discussion. I do the tarot reading, other divination tools. We'll probably do another transmission to build on the one we're doing tonight. And then on Monday at 8 p.m., Heather the healer, Heather Istara, and myself, we're going to do some transmission work. So you can really sink into these new energies so you can come into your new vibration, your new life, basically, your new beginnings. Very, very powerful time. So highly, highly recommend it. And so first thing is focus on heart-brain coherence. When we bring our heart into coherence, the brain locks in, and then we become coherent with spirit. It's very, very simple, but because of our program belief systems and whatnot, what should be very simple and natural becomes difficult because the social conditioning and the programming severs the natural connection that all humans have between heart and brain. It's even shown in physiology because we have a certain type of brain cells in our heart. So the heart is the electromagnetic generator. It's the strongest one in the body. It's more magnetic in nature. So that's like the generator, and the brain is the transmitter receiver of that information. It's more electrical. Thought waves are more electrical. So when you start to do your heart-brain coherence and you bring the heart and brain into balance, the brain draws on the heart frequency. It becomes stronger. And with that synchronization that happened, then we start to sink in more with spirit. So that's the grand triad, the 3 in 1 and the 1 in the 3, like a maiden, mother, and crone, or Father, Son, Holy Spirit, depending on what version of the divine Trinity or the 3 in 1, 1 in 3 that you prefer. So it's important to do that, but Libra is about the balance. So this is very, very advantageous for that. So Libra's about balance. Make this the month that you start this. If you haven't, I have a whole playlist on how to do heart-brain coherence. Several videos on that on the channel. You just go to the playlist, look up heart-brain coherence, find a video or two, watch it, and do it. But the main thing is you get very relaxed, very present. You become very grateful for the present moment, feel compassion. And by sitting with that and building with that, the brain, and if you can consciously let the brain feel those emotions that your heart is generating, the heart and the brain will naturally come back into synchronization, but you can enhance that and just feel like that they're one, and then you're in heart-brain coherence. If you do that 3 times a day, 10 minutes at a time, according to Heart Math Institute and others, it's got a whole slew of benefits, including anti-aging, by the way, and including bolstering your immune system, as well as opening up more spiritual pathways. So it enhances your intuition and your connection with spirit and divine source. So do it. The next thing to do is shadow integration work, because we are in the Libra, the light and the dark, the balance of the shadows, coming to Scorpio season, the season of the shadows. I have another playlist on the Medium channel on how to do shadow integration work. The video I recommend the most is the 5 shadow work exercises. So that's 5 powerful exercises in one video that you can learn and start to do and start to apply. So again, I have a whole playlist on that. You can find that. And something else they showed me was just doing a little bit of basic candle prayer or candle magic. Since this is a new beginning, and relationship, money, and those Venusian, it's Venus, because Venus rules Libra. That Venus energy rules over. As you light a candle, first you want to prepare the candles. You want to clear your mind, set your intention, write your intention on paper, put that under the candle, hold your candle, feel in your heart what you want to manifest, feel grateful for what you want to manifest, see that in your mind. So that's a form of heart-brain coherence also, because the heart is the emotion, it's the magnet, it's the feeling. The brain is the imaging, it's the mind. So when you can hold an image in your mind, if you're not visual, just feel it in your mind. You just know it's real. It'll have the same power, because some people have aphantasia, which is an inability to hold mental images. All of our brains are constructed differently, but that doesn't put you at a disadvantage. You just have to know how to work with that. And how you work with that, well, you can smell, you can taste, you can feel, you can hear, you can be in a moment and in a scene and feel it. So you do that in your brain as if what you desire has already happened. It's already real. You feel grateful with that for your heart. The heart generates the power to power that into reality. And by blending your heart and your brain and staying present, you send that signal, that powerful signal, to the quantum field or the realm of spirit. Take your pick. You have science versus metaphysics. It's the same thing. And through the power of repetition, if you keep doing that and you keep sending that signal, you start to change. Your energy changes, how you respond changes, and people do you more favors, synchronicities line up, and your dreams start to manifest. So keep doing that. So anyway, let's do some divination cards that I happen to have. We have the Moonology deck, so we'll get some more messages to that, and then we'll do our transmission. All right. I'm looking at it, and in my mind, I'm like trying to remote view, which is funny, but I'm seeing almost like 3 objects, not just one. I mean, maybe it's energetically transforming into something. But anyway, the card that I pulled was the gibbous moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. So we're coming out of the gibbous moon into the I have that in reverse. We're coming out of the waning moon into the dark moon, but the card I pulled is about the gibbous moon. So it's a message that you're very close to achieving your goals. So I think they just want us to know that through the card that I pulled. That you may be closer than you think, and this boost of energy with this new moon, with the conjunction with the interstellar object, with the astrological aspects, and all this going on, that could give you the boost you need to power into the next level. So I think it's just giving us encouragement to manifest now that we have the ability. We're close. Just like the gibbous moon, the gibbous waxing moon. I don't know if it says gibbous wax. It just says gibbous moon. But the gibbous waxing moon is very close to the full moon phase. That's the phase of manifestation. The new moon is the phase of new beginnings, where we start our new work. So again, that's why the new moon is so important, because if you understand the energies of the new moon, that's like the template, the launching pad, as it were, to things that you can accomplish. So if you understand that and you swim with the energetic current, you'll be more successful than if you don't understand it and swim against it. So that's that. I also have Starseed Oracle deck. Who here's a Starseed? I mean, we all are to greater or lesser degree, but I don't know if we have any first generation starseeds. That would be really interesting to me, because that means that you haven't incarnated on Earth before. That you're purely from another place, and you're having to go through the human experience to really remember who you are. But once you do that, then you're going to make a difference, which is why you have these crazy powers you may not have understood before. Anyway, so let me see what messages to the Starseed Oracle that the Spirit can provide us at this time. All right. Okay. Clearing my mind. This is the card. They want me the card under this. Okay, the one under this is the card they want me to pull. All right. Did I get one or two? I think I got two. Yeah. All right. So first card that I got is the Cosmic Harp, appropriate for a Libra new moon. This is what the card looks like. So sometimes you get your message through the imagery. See, everything's in opposite land on StreamYard. So I've got to adjust it. And then the little message here is devotion, potency. Make your life a moving prayer. And what do we have here? We have the starseed figure. I can't tell what's on her shoulder. It looks like kind of an animal with a tail. I don't know if any of you can make this out, what this is. I hope I haven't seen a comment come through in gosh, a long time. I hope you guys are still here and with me. But anyway, but that's what the card looks like. And it almost looks like this is like some kind of a spirit helper that's sort of, you know, gazing back from where the figure came from, and the figure's looking where she's going, basically. So anyway, that's that. And the second one that I pulled from this deck is it's called Empathic Starseed. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're an empathic starseed. And oh, yeah, there we go. So yeah. That's what I thought, Sandra. That's what I thought. But I wanted to make sure, because I just wanted to make sure. Thanks for indulging me. So that's what this looks like. And being empathic just basically means that we feel, right? That we feel things very deeply. And a lot of us that are drawn to this work are very empathic. So energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. So I think it's a reminder that maybe with such heightened awareness and energy, that we're more apt to absorb other people's energy. So I think Spirit's trying to give us a message to make sure that we still are paying attention to our shielding, because I didn't talk about that earlier. You know, shielding should not be fear-based. It should just be empowered-based. In other words, it's like, I'm not afraid of bad vibes. I just prefer to be in more positive vibes, right? So that's flipping it, because you know, if we're subconsciously in fear based, we don't want to feel the stress of others or their negative energies or whatever, and we do any work to try to change that, we're really manifesting the opposite of we want, because what we're feeling subconsciously is what we manifest. So that's also part of the integration, understanding how your subconscious works and being able to override that when necessary. So there's no fear here. There's only empowerment. Yeah, we have to know what's coming. You know, there are earth changes that are happening, and displacement and geological events and geopolitical events. But it's nothing to fear. You know, we have to be in that really empowered place. And to be an empath, you really want to be there. That way, being an empath becomes a power, a superpower, not a detriment. You know, if I'm going out there and I'm feeling everybody's emotions, and I went through that, and it led me to doing drugs and heroin and stuff like that. I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. I know what that is. So So and really integrating the heart is a really good tool, and and embracing your gifts and powers. But sometimes we need to do energetic shielding. So I'll do my spirit mirrors. I'll create light around my aura if I'm going into somewhere where I know that there may be difficult energies. Just to stay empowered, not because we all influence each other, especially if we're empathic. We feel it. It's just part of being human. So I want to negate anything negative as much as possible, be more in my frame, stronger in my frame and my power. So you can add grounding and strengthening your frame, not being easily swayed by other people's energies, be more confident in who you are. That's strengthening your frame. And shadow integration work is really good for that also. But yeah, you can absorb my energy. That's fine. Andrew, thank you. So anyway, last but not least, we're 55 minutes, so we're a little long today, but let's do the frequency of this new moon according to the Sacred Geometry Divine Oracle deck. That's okay. Nobody has to I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking to the air. I didn't think I was, but I wanted to make sure. I'm talking to the air, but I wanted to make sure on the other side of the air, my camera and all my setup, that you guys are with me. All right. Darn, I don't have my Shungite pyramid with me. Oh well, I'll survive. By the way, a good exercise to do if you're around a lot of technology like I am, get out into nature, hug a tree, feel the wind, let those vibrations charge your system, and that'll like clear any negativity from the EMFs. And if you do your heart rate coherence and you magnify the frequency of the heart, well, guess what? The heart's the largest electromagnetic generator in the body. My Wi-Fi signals, I don't have a cell signal here, which I'm glad about. Is also electromagnetic in nature. So if we boost our own electromagnetism, it's what outside frequencies don't affect us as much. So that's another way of being in your frame, strong in your frame. So it happens on many levels. Anyhow, that said, here we go. And the frequency that we got is belief, number 11. I know because we get this one pretty often. So that's a good one for this group, apparently. I don't think we've gotten it for a while, but we do get it often. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So that's kind of ground all the information that I was saying. That's really what it boils down to. If we believe in ourselves, others believe in us. Things show up in our life to support that. If we don't believe in ourselves, things show up to support that illusion that we don't believe in ourselves or our process. So believe in ourselves. And it's also worth noting that our belief system is based on experience just as much as our experiences are based on our belief systems, if that makes sense. So in other words, like if I've had a lot of crappy things happen over and over again, my belief system is going to be affected by that. But at the same time, that if I'm constantly vibrating at a different level, the experiences over time are going to start to change, that are going to start to support a new belief system. So in other words, I believe that I'm a human, that I'm living in this beautiful apartment that's very, very nice setup that I have here. But that's based on my experience, what I see and what I've experienced, right? So belief's a little bit of a tricky catch-22 thing, and it's worth mentioning because we got that beliefs. Understand that our experiences have shaped our beliefs up until now, but the buck stops here. We can change our beliefs, and over time, that'll start to change the experiences we have moving forward. So anyway, Dolphin Dreams, you're never late. You're right on time. And the good news is that if you enjoy this, you can go back to the beginning as soon as we end, which is going to be in a minute. But you're right on time because we're about to start the activation. So let's get nice and relaxed. I'm going to have a little drink. So the idea here is I do a form of channeling. I mean, it's rare, but not as rare as people might think. A lot of times, you're just doing Reiki healing, you're doing a form of energy channeling, right? So, I try to, as much as I can, not debunk things, but demystify things. We're energetic beings. We have vessels that we can open up to higher beings to work through us, and that can change the frequencies. That can affect your frequencies if you're being present in this meditation. That means you're sinking into this group energy. The master teachers, the beings that I work with, can access you and work with your higher self to upgrade your frequencies also, right? So it's it's not like, what's what I'm trying to say? Well, I can't think of the word, but suffice it to say, like I'm not the grand poobah or anything. Any one of us can learn how to do frequency channeling and open up to higher beings to work with that. So now you just get to be part of the circle. So anyway, the idea is just relax, try to stay present. The more present you are, the more you're going to be in this sphere, in this energy, and the more they're going to be able to access you. Oh, they're here. My ears just started to ring. That's how I know. There's one other thing I wanted to say before I start. Let me see if the master teachers and how. Another thing, just have fun with it, and just stay within, stay in your power. Because the idea here is that we want to sink in with these new powerful energies, because we're all experiencing a collective upgrade now, a quantum leap. So we're going into a new energy. It's like just like the electrons. They don't just gradually increase their energy. They stay in a certain energetic valence, and then when they have a quantum leap, they go into the next level, basically. So quantum physics is really based on what we observe inside of the atom, and how the microcosm and the macrocosm are actually the same. The exact same functions happen. They're exactly the same, but our point of reference changes. So what happens in the microcosm in a trillionth of a second happens in the universe in trillions and trillions of years, but it's still the same process is happening. And it's no coincidence that the distance between like stars, comets, interstellar objects, planets, whatever, are exactly the same, scaled down to the distance of different bodies within an atom, within the electron fields of an atom. So it's all the same. We might be living in an atom in somebody else's body. That might be our universe, because it's all the same. It's just our point of reference is different. So on that note, with that kind of a Zen cone, because if you try to think about it, you lose it, but it can open up that awareness of what is. So on that note, just get relaxed. The master teacher, I'm not going to verbalize this thing. Are you quite done now? Can we start? I'm like, yes. All right, so let's get nice and relaxed. They're very good natured, by the way. So get nice and relaxed. Just start to feel your shoulders relax. Any weight, tension, it's easy to get our shoulders tense just turning on social media or the news or just feeling the energies. We have to catch ourselves. These are all ploys by the lower forces to try to keep us from ascending, by the way. We have control over our own energy fields and bodies. We have to be conscious, though. We're programmed and conditioned to be unconscious. Let's be conscious of our shoulders. Let all the weight off of our shoulders. And relax your chin and cheeks and temples and forehead. And be aware of your breath. Feel your body, the space around your body. Feel your breath. Be aware of everything happening, what you're hearing, smelling, seeing in your light, through your closed eyelid, whatever. But focusing on nothing, just be aware of everything. Starting with the breath. Very, very relaxed. That's all you need to get out of the limiting personal mind and programming and blending with universal mind, intelligence, spirit, source, or gods. We are raising the frequencies. with you and for you. Yes, yes, we are the master teachers, interdimensional beings of light, of consciousness. So we are not separate. We are part of the, we'll just say, the vastness of the collective super consciousness, as it were. Point being, we do not exist outside of you. We are in essence part of you. Even though one level of seeing reality, we are of different dimension, we are of different reality, which is all part of the same reality. Welcome to the grand illusion. Look outside, see what's happening. We like music too, because the channel likes music, and we blend with the channel. Doesn't go into a full-on trance where we talk through, and we blend and work together. This is how it works with interdimensional consciousness. But what we are here to do is assist you in raising the frequencies, increasing the velocities of frequency, and helping you, assisting you into shifting into a higher reality, a higher state of being, a perception and understanding. It is not literal, it's not intellectual, it's of universal mind, universal thought, universal frequency and energy. Yes, very good. We have a very good group with us this evening. That includes those of you that are watching as a video, because we are not of time and space. Does not matter where, what planet you're on, what day of the week it is. You tune in and you're present with the sound of our voice, with your relaxation, with your breath. You are live with us. We will work with interdimensional frequencies and sounds, help you to sink into these new higher vibrations and frequencies, to open up new awarenesses and abilities, and to activate your DNA. No, your DNA is not dormant or asleep. It's just in a state of stasis, as it were, of non-awareness, or your non-awareness of it, and vice versa. So we will assist. We wish to interject, since the channel did not mention this enough, we feel, in the earlier video, you are going to experience a massive uptick in visitors from other planets and dimensions in your world. You will experience more sightings, more communication, more evidence than ever, by a lot, starting at this time, really ramping up towards the full moon of the cycle, the month of November, when you shall always remember. We are poets, but we did know it. La, 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 lots of laughs. LOL, ha, ha, ha. We are raising the frequencies. Laughter helps to do this, yes, to raise the vibrations. So as we transmit through you and around you, we assist in intensifying and raising the frequencies, flowing within you and around you. The idea is to be fluid, to let it flow. As you inhale, just feel gentle expansion of your body and energetic fields. As you exhale, gentle contraction. Create that flow, that elasticity that you need to transcend and to, shall we say, transmit, or allow these higher energies to transmit through you without any negative symptoms. Your programming makes you very rigid, very stiff, and unyielding to new energies and vibrations, which is why ascension symptoms come up during this time of increasing frequencies, which is why it's hard, because it's not. We recommend that as you walk, engage your whole body, You take a step, feel your muscles stretch, engage in every step. Feeling the body's not walking rigidly, but it's actually expanding and contracting with each step. It's moving, waves go through it. This is your natural state of being. This is what's been taken from you through those lords of chaos who want to control and dictate the planet. It's part of the grand plan. It's not negative. It just is what you've been chosen in your collective. Now it's time to counter that. You inhale gentle expansion, exhale gentle contraction. Create those waves, that movement. Feel with the inhale and exhale, the space between the atoms and molecules increases slightly in the inhale, decreases slightly in the exhale. Create that movement, chi, prana, flow. And this will assist in our work and assisting you in raising your frequency. So we are doing that, raising the frequencies. Just relax, allow, breathe. If it gets uncomfortable, just breathe through it. You're increasing the flows with your higher self. Hakshu kakama yang kokonya dadaya babashon through our light language transmission, we are communicating intentions to your higher self, higher being, assimilated through your DNA. But by the way, each DNA strand is alive. It's a living being within you. Introducing new information into your circuitry, as it were. You begin to hear, see, and sense spirit more and more. This will assist. What's your soul? Which will help you to recalibrate to the new frequencies coming in. Strength and balance, and opening and awakening. We are now grounding the energies. The few roots extending from your root, or even from your heart down through your solar plex, sacral, and root, deep into the earth, grounding and centering you. As we send a lot of light and information into the earth fields also. This will help your society over time, help your earth to balance, to maybe mitigate some of the earth changes. maybe help soften some of the earthquake activity, things of that nature. But mostly this is about energy and consciousness. And just feels you're grounding and your roots are getting deeper, that the transmitting energy is coming through your crown, down through your center line, body and vehicle, and through your roots and expanding into Mother Earth. Visualize beautiful green light, maybe pink and gold light also. And you are helping everybody. A focused group prayer on steroids, as it were. Since the earth fields and absorbing and transforming in this higher frequencies. As we transmitted frequencies interdimensional that are sinking in with mode 7 of your Schumann resonance, which you can look up and understand. It vibrates at roughly 40 hertz. If you want to be technical about it. It's a very, very low frequency energy. Long wavelength, that means. And start to feel the earth absorbing these intentions as if it was food or sustenance. Start to feel yourself anchored and grounded into Mother Earth. Yet feeling your crown and your upper chakras extending like branches of a tree out into infinity. For you are the channel of light and energy into the earth. That's part of what you are here for. That's part of what you do naturally. And as we finish up, at the base of your auric field, just visualize an opening. I like to use a little tailpipe. Open that up and just open the valve, and that lets any excessive staticky energy that you could pick up through this high frequency transmission that we're doing, let that just ground and drain into the earth. You deepen your breathing. When you're ready, open your eyes. And as you're coming back around, I'm just going to end with another invitation to join our 4-part tarot class. If you have any inkling to learn the tarot, not just how to read, but how to learn the tarot and understand its potential and how that can help you in many areas. It is a very well priced class for what it is. It will be, again, as soon as I end, I'll post that on the pinned comment. And if you want to just go on your own and check it out, it's atombetweentheworlds.com is the website on the events page. So anyway, we're going to end now. Thanks, everybody. 11 a.m. We'll be back to do, we'll be back for tarot time. We'll do another transmission, that'll be different than this one. That'll help to balance this one. And then Monday night, we're going to do a big one with Heather. That'll be at 8 p.m., not 7. Because at 7 o'clock, we have our Spirit Mind Family Hangout. For those of you that are in Spirit Mind Family, that's our inner core community, our Patreon group. 7 o'clock on Zoom. You'll get the links, those that are in. Oh, and if you want to join, I'll leave information on how to join that also. We do extra transmission work. We go deeper. We help to safely accelerate your awakening process and to help you to really to understand yourself, your place in the world more, and what your spiritual mission is. So a lot of spiritual growth happens in this community. It happens here too, but if you want to go the next level, check that out. Again, extremely well priced for what it is. You were humming with us, Helen? Very good. So you were transmitting too. And you're feeling the tingle. That's the chi. That's the energy. Very good. Yes. All right. So I'm going to end now. And thanks, everybody, for being here. I love you. And we'll see some of you tomorrow.